Hi, my name is Brett Sussman, and this is my presentation on the city of Mecca and its relationship with the Muslim people. This is the Kaaba. It's the most sacred site in the Islamic faith, and it's located in the center of the city of Mecca. We will get to its importance a little later. Mecca was the birthplace of the Prophet Muhammad, creator of Islam, in the year 570. In the year 630, Muhammad captured the city and destroyed the pagan idols throughout. Muhammad kept Kaaba because God, or Allah as he is called in Islam, had sent him to reform and restore what had been established by Abraham and corrupted over time by pagans. When Muhammad established the 5 pillars of Islam, he made the 5th pillar the Hajj, or the pilgrimage to Mecca by any Muslim that is physically or financially able. This is a map of Mecca. On the right side, you'll notice a look at most of Saudi Arabia, and Mecca is located just off the Red Sea, across from the border of Egypt and the Sudan. The larger map shows the borders of the city in gray. The red line shows the pilgrimage that every Muslim is expected to take, and the red dot in the city is the Kaaba. Mecca is located in the Surat Mountains of west central Saudi Arabia, like the map showed. It is 45 miles from the Red Sea and the port town of Jeddah. The land is harsh, filled with volcanoes, or dormant volcanoes, and deep depressions. Added with that, there is little rain and lots of sun. Like most cities in the area, Mecca had been an oasis town, serving the people making the journey between the Mediterranean world and South Asia. By the Roman and Byzantine empires, it had grown to a sizable city and cultural center. This site is sacred to the Muslim people. Muslims make up 1.6 billion of the world's population, which is 1/4, give or take. And it is also considered to be one of the fastest growing religions in the world. Muslim people live all over the world, but hubs can be found in the Middle East, South Africa, Southeast Asia, and Central Asia. Strict adherents to the religion are required to pray 5 times a day, facing the city of Mecca, no matter where they are. The most important holiday to the Muslim people is Ramadan, and during this time they fast for an entire month. There are 2 sects of the Islamic faith, and they are Sunni and Shia. They have been known to disagree and have had problems in the past. This is a picture of a Muslim man in prayer. He is, like we said before, facing the city of Mecca, and more specifically facing Kaaba. This is a map of the demographics of Islam, and as you can see, the countries with the majority of Muslims is shown in dark green. This map doesn't show the Americas, and this doesn't mean that there aren't Muslims in America, because there are, but it just means that there isn't a sizable enough population compared to the rest of the people to be shown on this map. The Islamic faith is monotheistic, believing in one God, Allah. The Muslims are guided by their holy book, the Quran, which is to be the exact words spoken by God to Muhammad. Muhammad was a prophet of God, and he was not the only prophet in Islam. However, he was the last one. The Muslims recorded what Muhammad said throughout his life and put the things he said together in a book called Hadith. Together with the Quran, the Hadith helped create the rules that govern Muslim people. The laws created from these texts are called Sharia. As I showed earlier in the presentation, the Kaaba is the most sacred site in the Islamic faith, and every Muslim is expected to take their Hajj and see it. The Kaaba is what Muslims are supposed to see and face when they pray. It is the cuboid building that's in the center of the mosque in Mecca. Abraham and Ishmael, two prophets well before Muhammad's time, were said to have built the foundations of the building. When they completed the building, an angel brought Abraham a stone from heaven. This stone was originally white, but the sins of man were said to have turned it black. The stone is the only remaining part of the original structure, and it is on the eastern corner of the building. Muslim people are supposed to circle the mosque 7 times, and then they try to kiss the stone. If they cannot get close enough, then they are just supposed to point at it. On the bottom, there's a picture of the Kaaba we used before, and next to it is a picture of the black stone. On one of the 7 revolutions, the goal is to put one's head inside that metal piece and kiss the stone on the inside. The city of Mecca and the mosque and the Kaaba had always been sacred. When Muhammad captured the city in 630, he decided to make the mosque in Mecca the center of Islamic faith, in part due to its connection with past prophets of Allah. Physically, it was an oasis in a rather harsh environment that surrounded it, like we discussed earlier, making it one of the best options in the area. Culturally, it was the birthplace of Muhammad and location where Abraham and Ishmael built the mosque, so it had a lot of significance. Geographically, this site works out perfectly for Muslims because it's mostly central in the main Islamic part of the world. The majority of Muslims extend from Northwest Africa to Southeast Pacific, so Mecca is pretty much central in that region. As with most religions, there have been a conflict between sects. The 2 main sects of Islam are Sunni and Shia, and they have been disagreeing with each other on the history of Islam and who should be in charge ever since Muhammad died in 632. In countries with representations of both sects, relationships are tense and there is animosity on both sides. The Hajj brings every sect and division of Islam together in one area, so naturally, conflict can be expected. In 1987, 402 people died at the Hajj when troops went in and broke up a Shia protest. However, mostly the different sects of Islam are able to come together during the Hajj, put their differences aside, and focus on having a spiritual experience. There is little hope for a resolution due to the fact that the rift has been around for over 1,000 years. The only real hope that we have for the 2 groups to get along is that if they can put their differences aside and live peacefully amongst themselves together. It is obvious that the impact of millions of people coming to the city of Mecca at one time would have a massive impact on the region. When they arrive, Muslims need services, places to stay, food, water, and other essentials. The city is basically shut down as millions of Muslims perform the sacred rituals. It puts a strain on the city's infrastructure and emergency systems. In the past, there have been accidents resulting in large losses of life. The sheer number of people has an effect on the physical landscape because it is basically covered with people living in tents or walking and such. The benefits are that it brings people to the region and it does keep the area relevant and full with people. The city of Mecca is a good representation of the Muslim people and their beliefs. The site is a holy site. It is one where people help one another because everyone basically has the same goal, which is to complete the Hajj. When people make it to Mecca, they are no longer whoever they were in their home country. They are now equal with everyone else in every way, making everyone essentially the same. This is one of the Islamic beliefs that equality and giving is very important. Also, the site itself represents one of the 5 pillars of Islam. I decided to choose Mecca and the Islamic culture and faith because it was a religion and culture I didn't really understand. I had remembered learning the highlights in middle school, but other than that, I didn't really understand the site or the culture at all. I wanted to pick a topic that I wasn't familiar with so that I could learn while completing the project. It wasn't going to be something that I memorized or something that I was comfortable with. I wanted it to be completely new. I was surprised to learn the amount of reverence the Muslim people have for this sacred site. Mecca was basically the cradle for their religion. And this site wasn't just about Muhammad either. I learned that it had historical context going back to Abraham and Ishmael and others. And I now have a much better understanding of how and why people revere sites such as this. This is my works cited, the sources I used to find my information, and these are the citations for the images that I used. Thank you.